This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, sir. This is Reddy here.
Good morning.
Honorable Vice Presidents of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, Honorable Members of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, Honorable Judicial Member, Central Administrative Tribunal, family members of Sri R. Vijayaraghavan, sir, senior advocates, colleagues from the bar, chartered accountant, departmental representative, officers of the Income Tax Department. Madam Asha Vijayaraghavan is no longer amongst us. She departed from this world on the 1st of May 2026, a day which in many ways symbolizes dignity of labor, commitment to society, and selfless service. It is with profound grief and deep reverence that we gather today to pay our heartful homage to the memory of Madam Asha Vijayaraghavan. On behalf of the Revenue Bar Association, Chennai, I most respectfully and sincerely invite the Honorable Vice President, Chennai Zone, Sri George K., to graciously chair this solemn full court reference and preside over the proceedings.
I now request the gathering to stand to observe 2 minutes silence in respect of memory of late Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan. I now request Honorable Account Member
Court officer, we are not able to hear the proceedings.
Can you hear us? No?
We are not able to hear.
hear us now, sir?
The voice is very feeble, madam.
We are able to hear.
Now it's better, madam.
I now invite Honorable Vice President, Retd, Shri Mahavir Singh sir, deliver his message.
Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan, former judicial member of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, who passed away on 1st May 2026. Born in Chennai, Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan hails from a distinguished and illustrious family associated with law, scholars, and public service. Her father, late Shri K.R. Ramamani, was an illustrious and renowned senior advocate and leading tax expert. Her mother, Srimati Hemlata Ramamani, was a respected educationist and Sanskrit scholar. Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan married to Shri R. Vijayaraghavan, who is again a leading income tax advocate and grandson of Shri S. Vardachari, the first acting Chief Justice of Federal Court of India. She is having two children, Shri Vikram Vijayaraghavan, a leading tax advocate and software entrepreneur, and daughter Srimati Mirdula Anand, molecular biologist and senior Bharatanatyam dancer. Beyond her professional accomplishments, Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan remained deeply involved in educational, agriculture, cultural, philosophical, and charitable initiatives. She was having multifaceted personality. She served as a committee member of National Agro Foundation, founded by Bharat Ratan Sri C. Subramaniam, and took a deep and active interest in agriculture. Along with her family, she was actively involved in the administration of RMT School, a rural charitable institution founded by her father, Sri K.R. Ramamani, which provides free education to underprivileged children in village along with Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh border of North Chennai. A trained Carnatic music practitioner and enthusiast from young age, she was also deeply interested in Indian philosophy and founded the RMT Vaishnava Sabha, an organization dedicated to discourses on Vaishnavite philosophy. Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan will always be remembered as a multifaceted personality who made a distinguished contribution to tax jurisprudence when she was member of ITAT from 2007 to 2017, while also dedicating herself to education, agriculture, public service, charitable initiative, and the preservation of culture and philosophical traditions. She embodied a family tradition founded upon scholarship, integrity, and service to society. I pray to God and Almighty to departed soul rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Honorable Vice President, ITAT Kolkata Zone, Shri Dhruv Reddy, sir, to deliver his message. I now invite Honorable Vice President, ITAT Kolkata Zone, Shri Reddy, sir, to deliver his message.
Good afternoon to all of you. And I have special acquaintance with Asha Madam. She only first informed me about my selection as judicial member, ITAT. The time I was in judiciary, one of my relative is known to her. He said that I went to Delhi. I saw the list. Your relative, Mr. Reddy, his name was there in the list. Like that, she told me. She told him, then he informed me. And of course, everybody knows about Vijayaraghavan sir and Vikram. And Madam asked me to do something for her daughter's enrollment while I was during this orientation. The time Madam was transferred from Bangalore. I did it within a couple of days. And she said that my daughter went to 4 or 5 occasions, brother, but she is not able to done that registration. And when I was in Chennai, Madam was transferred to Chennai just before her retirement. That time she used to bring so many different varieties of sweets to tea club, even though she was heavy diabetic by that time. But she used to serve the very good sweets, snacks to all of us. So we have so many memories with her. And I am expressing my deep condolences to our family members. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite former Vice President, ITAT. I now invite former Vice President, ITAT, Shri R.S. Sayal, sir, to deliver his message.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Actually, I had the first-hand privilege and honor of sitting with Asha Madam in Bombay benches for almost 3 or 4 years. During this period, I realized that she had a passion for work and was a dispassionate judge. Her sincerity, her hardworking nature, and a knowledgeable person having such a knowledge, these are three really remarkable qualities which I found in her. She always used to say that whenever there is some challenging issue, she says, I will try this order. And she always came out with flying colors, really fantastic orders she delivered. And whenever some issue was involved, she used to go deep into the issue and just up to the bottom, and then would always come out with the fantastic results. So far as some hardworking nature is concerned, I remember whenever during the course of the week, whatever files were disposed of. Suppose some hearing is there, and but the order is yet to be disposed of. She will take the files to her home on Saturdays and Sundays. And when Monday she will be coming back, all the files will be there ready with the orders. That was the hardworking nature she had. And secondly, she was very knowledgeable also. Not only she was hardworking, but she was very knowledgeable also. Whenever I came across some difficulty, suppose I had some interpretational issue, I found myself in a quagmire, whether it will be this way, that way, I used to consult her. And she always really bring me out of the problem. These are the three qualities which I found in her person, this level. And apart from this, she was a dispassionate judge. She never saw the extent of the amount involved in the appeal, whether it is in thousands or it is in multiple crores. If issue is there, has to be resolved in favor of the city, she never hesitated, and vice versa. And one more thing which I noticed that she used to encourage juniors. Once what happened during the court proceeding itself, some seniors started arguing the matter. And some junior was sitting by his side. And she said to the seniors that it appears that your junior can argue very well. Senior sat down and asked his junior to stand up and argue. And the junior argued and she wrote that order, very nice order, it was written by her. So these are certain things which I noticed about her work side. On personal side also, what I feel that she was very meticulous in her approach and very very welcoming person. She was always like that, coming out with the solution whenever suppose some staff person has some difficulty, he will go and she will come out with a solution. Personally, I said just one instance. Once what happened that she just came from home and forgot to carry her coat. She called me that can we start a little late? I said, what's the issue? She said, I forgot my coat. So I said, one coat is there with me, you can put it on and go ahead. So I sent her the coat, and after 3-4 days when I got my coat back, that was duly dry cleaned. I said, what is the system? She said, no, since I used it, I could not return it without dry cleaning. That was the meticulous approach she had. And last month only, I had the opportunity of meeting her, courtesy Brother George K. George Saab. We recalled all those matters, all those things, and really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed our company for a period of, I think, more than half an hour. Now, the legacy that she has left is that several landmark decisions which she has delivered on most intricate issues of taxation. She was into all the diverse aspects of the taxation, be it international taxation, be it transfer pricing, be it domestic taxation. She delivered very good orders, and all those orders very well reasoned and are really source of inspiration, not only for the stakeholders but also for the members at large. I pray to Almighty that He gives peace to the departed soul and strength to the family and others to bear this irreparable loss. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite former accounting member ITAT, Shri Sudhakar Reddy, sir, to say a few words on. Sudhakar Reddy, sir. I now invite Shri P.H. Ernest Pandian, sir, Senior Advocate, former President RBI, to say a few words about Madam Asha.
Honorable Vice President, honorable members, honorable Vice Presidents on the virtual mode and other members, senior advocates of the Madras Bar and other bars, senior chartered accountants, family members, my senior Mr. Vijayaraghavan, Vikram, and the family members. On behalf of the extended family of the Subrayar office and Mr. Ramamani, late Mr. Ramamani's office, we would like to extend our first, I would say, comfort as well as condolences to the loss of our eldest member in the professional family, Miss Asha. 3 decades back, when I entered as a raw junior on the first day, it was Asha who, in a very small corner cabin outside where Mr. Devanathan and Mr. Sridhar used to sit, she used to occupy a very, very innocuous position, never looking out for any kind of, I would say, limelight as Mr. Ramamani's daughter or so. But she used to just come and leave as and when she had any files which she had to do. And she left Mr. Vijayaraghavan to himself. In fact, that was the success of Mr. Vijayaraghavan. She took over everything what she had to do as a daughter-in-law, as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, and incidentally as a lawyer, she was running around. So the first 4 occasions is what kept the whole family going. And with all this, she used to go to the IT-80 and the commissioners in the afternoon and take juniors like us wherever required to give us our exposure. For me personally, it was a huge loss. Till Mr. Ramamani was there, I used to see him on January 1st. After Mr. Ramamani, both Mr. Vijayaraghavan and Mrs. Asha were like a senior member of my family. Right from my marriage till my daughter's marriage, which is supposed to be next month, I thought she would be there to bless her. It was a very emotional occasion every year when I went to see them for the last 30 years. In fact, 32 years to be correct. Mrs. Asha never, I would say, failed to impress anyone by giving whatever she said. One former member did mention about the sweets, but her greatness will also be seen with the kinds of mangoes what she growed and she shared to everybody. And I was one beneficiary. All varieties of mangoes will be sent to any of us from her farm particularly. It was not from any other source, but purely from her farm. And it will not be just sending it to us, explaining also the category of the variety what she had tried that year, and she will give it to us. And in case by a mistake, if I tell her that I have liked it, I'll get 2 more boxes further. It is to that extent of love and affection. Mangoes is just one of the things. And in 2012, I must place this on record, I became Additional Advocate General of the state. And Mrs. Ramamani was saying that I'm waiting to see you. And when I called her, 48 hours later, I said, I must see you during the weekend, I'll come to meet her. Then I thought I'll go to Mrs. Asha's house. But by then, Mrs. Asha was also next to Mrs. Ramamani. And I cherished because she didn't leave me alone with a cup of coffee or a sweet. She gave me a nice Longines watch, which that time itself would have cost her a few lakhs. She said, you have to wear this and only go to the first day. I had not yet signed to take over. She said, you must go and sign with this. That is the kind of motherly love also with which she has touched each one. It is not about the material, but the context and the, I would say, the mind to share and see that a junior who is from the office who is also going to add on some position in an institution should be also recognized by the office. It is to that level, I should say, for each one, I'm sure, we don't have the time to share here, but each one has been touched by her. I heard only the members' position being spoken about her orders, her, I would say, landmark judgments, and her interaction with the judicial officers. I wanted to give the pre-life of Ms. Asha, which is phenomenally, I should say, which led to her accepting this position. She need not have. Most of us had it as a profession. I think she took it as a vocation. I'm not demeaning it. I'm trying to say with all the pressure what she had, she still loved this profession. She still wanted to serve the institution. And having seen it, she wanted to be part of it for close to 10 years. I think her soul will rest in peace in case we all pray that whatever she had done here, each one cherishes for the lives to come. Thank you.
I now invite former accountant member ITAT, Shri Sudhakar Reddy sir,
Oh,
to say a few words.
thank you, Sister Padmavati. Hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Thank you, thank you. Honorable Vice President Chennai Zone, George, Vice President Mahavir Singh, Vice President Riyad Reddy, honorable members of the tribunal, distinguished members of the bar, esteemed colleagues, members of the bereaved family, Sri R. Vijayaraghavan, Vikram, Mridula, and friends. At the outset, I thank the President and members of the Revenue Bar Association for giving me this opportunity. As already said, we have all assembled today with deep sorrow and reverence to pay our respectful tribute to our dear sister, Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan, who passed away on 1st May 2026. Her demise is an irreparable loss to the income tax appellate tribunal, the tax bar, and all those who have the privilege of knowing her, and specifically to all those numerous beneficiaries who have been touched by her charitable activities. We have lost an intelligent and practical person, an able administrator, a courageous woman of conviction, and a cherished friend and well-wisher. I had the privilege of knowing Sister Asha Vijayaraghavan not only as a respectful colleague of the tribunal, but also as a warm friend. She was very affectionate, whose guidance we valued, and had deep goodwill and commanded a lot of respect. We first met in Mumbai in 2007 when she was posted after joining the tribunal, and had the honor of sharing the bench with her. Regarding her judicial journey, the other speakers have spoken, so I would not be touching on it, except for saying that her orders were crisp, pointed, and firmly grounded in law. Asha Vijayaraghavan also occupies a unique place in the history of the tribunal. It was her determination and perseverance that led the Madras Bar Association to initiate legal proceedings relating to the appointment of 2005 batch ITAT members. That legal battle ultimately culminated in the appointment of that batch in 2007. Some of the members are on the bench today. Her role in that important chapter reflected her courage, conviction, and unwavering commitment to institutional fairness. Born in 55, studied in Stella Mella College and Madras Law College. Her marriage to Vijayaraghavan, a leading tax advocate, her children, everything about her family has been talked about. So I would not repeat saying, except that her son-in-law, a very renowned professor, was a faculty member of Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, and she used to tell me how she used to create a small school for teaching Bharatanatyam by her daughter. She was a truly multifaceted personality. She played an active role in education institutions, charitable organizations, agriculture, cultural activities, and philosophical pursuits. She was associated with management of international school for the high-end people, and also a rural school, free education on the Andhra border of Tamil Nadu. An ardent Carnatic musician, she founded RMT Vaishnava Sabha to promote Vaishnavism. The remarkable personality of Asha was she was bold and brave. She never ever had any hesitation to raise her voice, and she was very courageous at it. One of the instances when there was a small mix-up when we were coming from Bombay to Delhi in the airport where the CASF had some issue, and the courage with which she talked to them and said that this is your job, you please do it. Means we would have been a little hesitant and polite to it, but she was forthright. That courage that this lady has to be seen by all the other ladies to see that what a person can achieve and how she can be rightful in her attitude. Her life exemplified the harmonious blending of intellectual excellence, administrative ability. She used to manage so many things of her family, spiritual depth, and of all human kindness. Today, as we gather in this full court reference, we remember with gratitude her immense contribution to the society. We cherish her friendship, admire her courage, and draw inspiration from the remarkable example she set. On behalf of all those who have a privilege of working with her, I offer our heartfelt condolences to R. Vijayaraghavan, Vikram, Mudra, and all the family members. May the soul of Sri Asha Vijayaraghavan attain eternal peace. Satgati Prarthyastu. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. I now invite former President RBA and Secretary General All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Sri G. Bhaskaran, Advocate, to deliver the
Honorable Vice Presidents, members of all the tribunals, fellow members, guests, and family members of Mr. Vijayaraghavan. Viji, she used to fondly call him in the courtroom. When I entered the bar, she has already put in about 7-8 years of practice. And whenever I find Vikram saying that it's a small TP matter, sir, it won't take much time, I am reminded of Mr. Asha. She also had that persuasive character. And she will say, sometimes it's a small wealth tax matter, sir. Then she will start and she will keep on rolling the judgments one over the other, and it may take another 1 hour also. So that is the persuasive character with which she did the cases. And 71 is not too old an age in this longevity. It's a great loss. At the age of 71, she has to depart. And much had been spoken about her judicial orders and all that. I am only say that she also showed us the life need not be limited to one role. Alongside law, she remained deeply involved in education, charity, philosophy, music, agriculture, and public service. She lived fully and meaningfully. Not everyone leaves behind a legacy, but Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan certainly did. Her life is not one to be mourned alone, it is one to be admired, celebrated, and cherished. May her soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite S. Sridhar, Advocate, immediate past president of RBA, to say a few words about Asha.
I rise today with a deep sense of sorrow and solemnity to place on record the heartfelt condolences of the bar on the untimely demise of late Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan, former judicial member of this Honorable Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. Her passing is an irreparable loss not only to her family and friends, but also to the institution. She served with dignity, distinction, and unwavering commitment. The legal fraternity has lost a respected judicial officer whose contribution to the development of tax jurisprudence shall long be remembered with admiration and gratitude. Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan hailed from a family deeply rooted in the noblest traditions of profession. She was the daughter of my revered senior, late Sri K.R. Ramamani, one of the most respected solvers of the tax bar. The values for which Sri Ramamani was universally admired, integrity, scholarship, discipline, humility, and devotion to justice, were profoundly reflected in her own life and judicial career. On a personal note, I consider this moment one of deep emotional loss. I had the privilege of working for nearly 10 years in the chambers of late Sri K.R. Ramamani. During that period, I had opportunity to closely interact with Asha Vijayaraghavan and work alongside her in several matters. Even in those formative years, one could clearly perceive in her an exceptional sense of discipline, clarity of thought, and quiet determination, and qualities that later distinguished her tenure on the bench. Though I did not have the occasion to appear before her ladyship after her elevation to the tribunal, her judicial work earned immense respect across the fraternity. Her orders consistently reflected balance, fairness, and fidelity to legal principles. She possessed the rare ability to combine judicial firmness with human sensitivity. In one of her notable decisions, in DCAT versus Quality Care India Limited, she emphasized that where tax liability had already been discharged by the recipient of income, the revenue could not once again seek to recover the very same amount from the deductor. That decision reflected her abiding commitment to fairness in the administration of tax laws and her insistence that statutory provisions must operate in a manner consistent with justice and equity. Her contributions spanned several important branches of tax jurisprudence, including charities, capital gains, transfer pricing, and search assessments. Across these diverse fields, a common thread ran through her judicial approach. Taxation, in her view, had to be founded upon real facts, proper evidence, and sound legal reasoning. She steadfastly believed that fairness was not aligned to taxation, but an essential component of it. Members of the bar who appeared before her have often spoken with admiration of her patience, courtesy, and dignified conduct in court. She heard every matter with composure and gave every counsel a patient audience. In an era where institutional confidence depends greatly upon the conduct of those who occupy judicial office, she exemplified the finest traditions of the tribunal. Her life and career remind us that institutions derive their true strength not merely from statutes or structures, but from the integrity, character, and commitment of the individuals who serve them. On behalf of the bar, I extend our deepest condolences to the members of our bereaved family. We share in their grief and pray that Almighty grants them the strength, fortitude to bear this profound and irreparable loss. In respectful homage, we place on record our sincere appreciation for her distinguished service to this honorable tribunal and for valuable contribution to the evolution of tax jurisprudence in our country. I quote from Tirukkural: "Conduct gives true greatness. Therefore, the conduct must be preserved even more carefully than life itself. May her noble soul attain eternal peace."
I now invite current President Revenue Bar Association, Shri to deliver.
Much has been spoken today about Madam Asha Vijayaraghavan as an accomplished judicial member, about her legal acumen, her contribution to the institution, and the respect she commanded in the professional sphere. As someone who did not have the privilege of appearing before her, I would instead like to speak about Madam as a person whose life itself reflected grace, strength, warmth, dignity, and quiet greatness. Madam came from a family of extraordinary stature and values. She was the daughter of Sri K.R. Ramamani, a legend whose name evokes admiration and immense respect. She was the wife of Sri R. Vijayaraghavan, an intellectual par excellence, and through a gentleman and adored and admired by all who had the privilege of knowing him. She was also the proud mother of Srimati Mridula, a molecular biologist and a senior Bharatanatyam exponent, and Sri Vikram Vijayaraghavan, a barrister in law, who undoubtedly carries forward the rich legacy and is himself a legend in the making. Legends often carry extraordinary expectations, uncompromising standards, and immense responsibilities. It is often said that becoming a legend is difficult, but living with legends is perhaps even more challenging. To live amidst towering personality requires patience, strength, understanding, sacrifice, and emotional resilience of the highest order. To walk beside them, support them silently, understand the struggles, and fulfill their expectations with grace is no ordinary achievement. Madam did this with exceptional dignity and quiet strength. She was the steady force behind greatness, offering affection without seeking attention, support without seeking recognition, and strength without ever making it visible. She not only lived amongst legends, but complemented them beautifully, preserving harmony, warmth, and values within the family. That itself was an extraordinary accomplishment. Perhaps her greatest achievement was that despite being surrounded by greatness, she never lost her own individuality, simplicity, and humanity. She created an identity and legacy entirely her own kindness, grace, affection, wisdom, and love she extended to people around her. Madam was very kind and a gentle person, yet wonderfully outspoken when it came to her convictions and values. She possessed the rare ability to combine compassion and courage. Even the most complex situations and difficult moments were handled by her with remarkable ease, calmness, and maturity. She had a reassuring presence that brought comfort and balance to everybody around her. She was admired not merely for who she was, but for the manner in which she touched the lives of people around her. In her own, quiet yet powerful way, she was truly a legend in her own capacity. Today, while we grieve her passing, we also celebrate a beautifully lived life, a life filled with quiet strength, elegance, warmth, wisdom, and goodness. On behalf of Revenue Bar Association, I offer my deepest condolences to the bereaved family. May the Almighty grant them strength and peace during this difficult time, and may the noble soul of Madam rest in eternal peace.
I now invite Sri K. Gopal, President ITIT Bar Association Mumbai, to deliver his message.
Honorable Vice President Sri Mahavir Singh, Mr. George, Mr. Reddy, Honorable members of the ITAT, respected Mr. Sayal Saab, and respected Mr. Sudhakar Reddy, and other members of the ITAT, my seniors in the bar, and esteemed colleagues. Today, we have gathered with profound sorrow to pay tribute to the life and legacy of late Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan, an exceptional jurist, respected member of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, former distinguished advocate, educationist, philanthropist, and above all, a noble human being. Her passing away is not merely a loss to her family, but also to the legal fraternity and society at large. Through her service as Honorable Judicial Member of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal at Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, she made a lasting contribution to the Indian tax jurisprudence. I was fortunate enough to appear before her at Mumbai and Hyderabad both cases. Her judgments reflected clarity, fairness, and deep understanding of law. Many of her decisions continue to guide professionals and are a binding precedent in to the courts. She belonged to a family who devoted their lives to law and public service. Despite such lineage, she created her own identity through dedication, humility, and integrity. Whether as a tax practitioner in Chennai, a judicial member of the tribunal, or a mentor of young professionals, she carried herself with grace and quiet strength. Apart from professional achievement, she dedicated herself to education, rural welfare, agriculture, charitable initiatives, Indian philosophy, and culture preservation. Through her involvement in educational institutions, charitable schools for underprivileged children, agricultural development, and philosophical organizations. The sacred Bhagavad Gita teaches the soul is never born, nor does it die. The values, wisdom, and goodness of a person never fade away. Swami Vivekananda said, "They alone live who live for others." Madam Asha Vijayaraghavan was one of the examples for that. Few lines could describe Asha Vijayaraghavan more appropriately, whether through law, education, charity, or cultural service. Her life was devoted to the welfare and upliftment of others. The true greatness of a person lies not merely in achievements, but in the values they leave behind and lives they touch and lives they touch. May the Almighty grant strength and peace to her family and loved ones in this difficult time. May her soul attain eternal peace. Om Shanti.
I now invite Shri Arvind C. Datta, Senior Advocate Supreme Court, to say few words about Asha Madam.
Honorable Vice President, honorable members of the tribunal, and my colleagues at the bar, it is still difficult to reconcile with the fact that Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan is not with us. It's a totally unexpected incident. In fact, just a few weeks before, I had the occasion of meeting her. She was in slightly difficult health, but she was walking, talking, and exchanging pleasantries with us. She had the opportunity of going to UK to see the enrollment of her son as a barrister, which was a great and proud moment for the family. I was privileged to be Mr. Ramamani's junior and have had the opportunity of knowing her since 1981. Later, she joined the tribunal and retired from the tribunal. Our families maintained contact with her for the last so many years. It is indeed a terrible loss for the family and for the legal fraternity. I pray that the family has the fortitude to bear this loss, and all of us join in saying Om Shanti to the departed soul. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Prashant from Bangalore ITT Bar Association to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everybody. Honorable Vice President George Sir, Honorable Vice President Mahavir Singh Ji, CL Sir, Sudhakar Reddy Sir, and other honorable members of the tribunal, members of the Revenue Bar Association, members of the bar associations across the country, and Vijayaraghavan Sir and my elder brother Vikram. I had the privilege of appearing before Asha Madam at Hyderabad and Bangalore. One thing I have to recall and state that when I appeared before her in Hyderabad in my formative years of practice, she was not presiding over the bench, but when there was little difficulty in handling the matter, she prevailed over the senior member, saying that youngsters are coming up, you should give them ample opportunities, and told me to come on another date and then appear, which means it showed her empathy to juniors and to encourage juniors in appearing. And by the time she presided over the bench in Bangalore and started appearing before her, she always was very fond of the interactions, and she's always called me to the chamber and tell me this is how we should improve, this is what you can do. So I recall I have very fond memories with Asha Madam, and it's a great loss to the legal fraternity, because in Bangalore, I can tell you, most of the juniors were waiting to appear before her, because every junior knew that justice should be done to them and they will get enough and more opportunities if Madam is presiding over the bench. So therefore, she has ensured that junior counsels, chartered accountants and advocates should always get their chances. So it's probably a sad moment that she has left us. I only pray that her soul attains peace. Om Shanti, Sadgati Bhakti Rastu. Thank you.
Thank you. I now invite Madam Anita, CIT, to say a few words.
Honorable Vice President, honorable members of Tribunal, members of VAR, Mr. Vijayaraghavan and Vikram. On this occasion, I am here to share a few words about Madam Asha Vijayaraghavan on behalf of Revenue. Madam Asha, as we all know, she is a great legal luminary. During her decade-long tenure in IT80, she was known for her fairness in approach and balanced orders. While her intellectual capabilities came to the fore during her tenure in IT80, we get to see her empathetic side because of her contributions in National Agro Foundation for relief of small and marginal farmers, because of her activities in establishing school for underprivileged children. In addition, in what we see in Vikram, we know that she has been an exemplary mother. Our prayers for the noble soul to rest in peace. Thank you.
Now I invite Sri Sitaram, former President ICI, to say a few words about Asha Madam.
I am one of the few persons who had the privilege and fortunate enough to move with her in her early days, before she became an advocate. My first meeting with her was in Mr. Ramani's house. We used to engage Ramani for all legal matters. Mr. Ramani used to give me time only at 8:30 p.m. after dinner. He will invite me to some also. She was always sitting by his side, observing what is happening, what are the points. First few meetings she kept quiet. Subsequent meetings, she started arguing with me, sir, your point is not right. What do you mean? What do you say this? That is the natural intelligence which she had. Secondly, we organized a residential course in Kodaikanal for 10 days. The faculty was Mr. Ramani. I requested Mr. Ramani to ask Raja and Asha and Gopal, her brother, to attend the seminar, residential course. All the days before the session starts, she used to sit. The interaction she had, nobody can imagine. It was amazing. At that time, she was in the college days. She was not an advocate. That is the natural intelligence she had. When I told my wife that Asha is no more, she couldn't believe. What? She's always smiling, cheerful, nothing to worry about, well placed in there. She said, that is the case. She couldn't imagine that she is no more. I'll tell you one more thing. We were appointed statutory auditors of Central Bank of India. I'm in charge of the audit. My audit team is in Bombay. At that time, Asha and Vijayaraghavan was in Prabhadevi. Am I right? Prabhadevi. Before leaving Madras, I used to contact her mother. Do you want anything to be delivered to Asha? Whenever, before reaching my bank, I used to visit her house. And coming back also, this happened every for about 3 months. Coming back also, I used to go to her house. The hospitality which is shown, nobody can imagine. Nobody can imagine. That is her attitude. What she has inherited, not only the wealth, movable properties. She has inherited the knowledge, experience, and pleasing manners of her parents. If there is a tax on such inherited intangible assets, she would have been the highest taxpayer in the country. This is the manner in which so many people have assembled here clearly shows the regard the people have for her. I really miss her very much, because my association with her was about 30 to 40 years. But I could not imagine that she is no more. The last time we met her was to convey my condolences to mother's death. I couldn't imagine she was not well. She couldn't imagine at all. In spite of that, she came out. That shows the record here. And one more instance I would like to mention. She was in the Bombay lynch. I went to Bombay. You know, all the members will be very difficult to get a good name in the Bombay bar, as well as to start the conference in Bombay. To my friends, I didn't this close, I'm very close to Asha. Every member, every advocate paid a lot of tributes to her. That shows her knowledge, her independent approach, and everything. I only say that her soul must rest in peace.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Additional Solicitor General of India Supreme Court, Sri M. Venkatraman, sir, to deliver his speech.
To the honorable members, I first seek an apology for addressing through virtually, should have been present there due to constraints. I have three things to say about Asha Madam. We are in an era where the litigation path in the courts are becoming very, very aggressive and most often not very pleasant. So we have to only chew back to enjoy those moments of pleasant litigation in courts. And one such court has been the court experience whenever you have addressed a case or an argument where Asha Madam has been a member. A person who is so knowledgeable, she has lived her entire life knowing only this law, never showed a question of throwing air, throwing weight, throwing that I know more than anybody else here. Not once, not once. So open-minded, no preconceived notions. From a raw junior of one-day experience to whatever you may be, she will listen to you very carefully, and she has contributed calibrated judgments to the jurisprudence, more so in international taxation. So this is one feature, being pleasant and temperamentally being good all throughout is something which we will always, when we think of her, we'll always be recollecting this. And two, let's see her own life. What an achievement. Daughter of an illustrious father, life partner of a most understanding co-professional, and a mother of such a successful risen lawyer. So a full-fledged, complete life is what she has lived. And the last thing is, there was an interesting conversation with her a few years back for almost 30 minutes about the options her son has here or there on locations and other things. What was so motivating when we spoke with her was, not once in that 30 minutes conversation, the role of a mother came out anywhere with any emotional angles. She dealt the whole conversation as how a professional would deal, even though she was talking only about her son. She was so committed and she understood what a life of a professional is and what a life of such a commitment demands. So these are three things in my very short interaction with Asha Madam. We have had this opportunity of knowing her, and we all should together pray that this noble Jiva should attain Shanti and eternal peace. Namaste.
Honorable Vice Presidents, members of the Bar, I am Devdas from Hyderabad, speaking as President of the Income Tax Bar Association. I'm not in a position to start how to begin, but suffice it to say, when Asha Vijayaraghavan was in Hyderabad, it was a pleasure interacting with her, and in fact, I have conducted many appeals before her, and one thing she always used to say was, don't keep dictionary in one hand and interpret the income tax law on the other, because they are both born enemies. But I had a very, very pleasant occasion to be with her, and all her judgments, let me tell you, in the income tax appellate tribunal, very few have been carried forward to the high courts saying that there is a substantial question of law involved. This I say with great emphasis and without fear of contradiction. And the orders which she wrote and presented was of high intellect, and it stimulated the intellect of the person who read the order, and this gave a consensus of opinion amongst one and all that the law has developed, as Asha Vijayaraghavan said, meritoriously in all fields. I, for one, would have continued further, but many have spoken. I echo the sentiments of each and every speaker who has spoken on this day, and comment its acceptance in total. I have nothing more to say. I pray God that her soul may rest in peace, and my condolences to the bar members and the association. I am saying this, the Hyderabad Income Tax Appellate Tribunal Hyderabad sends its condolences to the bereaved family, and I rest my speech. Thank you, gentlemen.
Most of the speakers spoke prior to me have talked about different facets of Madam. I have unfortunately did not have the opportunity either to appear before her or interact with her as a senior. But my experience with her is something which none of them would have had. It is said that she has been involved in few Vaishnavite trust organizations. I had the privilege of interacting with her exactly on it. I am associated with few trusts and the temple. And probably last 20 years, at least twice a year, I used to go to their family. Most of the times, interacted with Madam or earlier with her mother, Mr. Vijayaraghavan. The understanding of Madam on Vaishnavite philosophy is something which, living in a normal life, whatever position you are, you could definitely be a deep felt Vaishnavite with understanding of the philosophy is something which I have realized. அகலகில்லே நிறைவுமென்று அலர்மேல் மங்கை உரைமார்பார் நிகரில் புகழாய் உலகம் மூன்றுடையாய் என்னை ஆழ்வானே நிகரில் அமரர் முனிக்கணங்கள் விரும்பும் திருவேங்கடத்தானே புகழன் நின்றா அடியேன் உன் அடிக்கீழ் அமர்ந்து புகுந்தேனே. Now where has she gone? She has gone, as Alvar puts, she has attained the lotus feet of the God through the services through the Acharya, which she has done through the trust. I think there is less for a Vaishnava to grieve on this occasion, and she has attained the position which she is destined to. And let us pray for that be ever. Thank you.
My esteemed colleagues, family members of Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan, officers of the department, members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have gathered here with deep sadness to pay our heartfelt respects to Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan former Honorable Judicial Member of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, who passed away on 1st of May 2026. Her passing is a great loss to the legal fraternity, particularly to the field of tax law, where she rendered valuable service with dedication and distinction. Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan served as Judicial Member of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal from the year 2007 to 2017 at Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore and Chennai. During her tenure, she earned immense respect from members of the bar, fellow colleagues and litigants for her fairness, patience, humility and deep understanding of law. She discharged her duties with sincerity and dignity, and many of her judicial orders were appreciated for their clarity, balanced reasoning and contribution to tax jurisprudence. Before joining the tribunal, she practiced as a tax advocate in Chennai for more than 2 decades. She built a strong reputation in the legal profession through her hard work, discipline, and commitment to the profession. Those who interacted with her always admired her simple nature, courteous behavior, and professional integrity. She belonged to a distinguished family known for its contribution to law, education, and public service. Her family background reflected scholarship and service to society, and she carried those values throughout her life and career. Apart from her professional achievements, she is also actively involved in educational, charitable, cultural, and social activities. She showed keen interest in promoting education, helping charitable institutions, and supporting social causes. She is deeply interested in Indian culture, philosophy, and music, and continued to contribute to society in any meaningful ways, even outside the legal field. Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan will be always remembered not only as an able judicial member and distinguished tax professional, but also as a humble, graceful, and a compassionate human being. Her contribution to the tribunal and to the society will remain respected and remembered by all who had the privilege of knowing and working with her. On this solemn occasion, we pray that Almighty may grant eternal peace to her noble soul and give strength and comfort to bereaved family members to bear this irreparable loss. Thank you. In fact, do we have time? In fact, it's your, next is your speech. I may be eating into your, can I, in fact, speak a few personal, because she is my batchmate. So I met her for the first time in 2006 in the very same building when I had come for the interview here. I distinctly remember, in fact, I've forgotten certain documents, certificates, which she was supposed to give it to the people who were scrutinizing this before we had to go to the interview before the selection board. So she was trying to get in touch with probably Vijayaraghavan or trying to get the certificate from home. She was not very successful. She was not very perturbed. She talked to the members who were scrutinizing these certificates. And she said, in fact, after I go for the interview, I'll come back and get the certificates. In fact, the person went and asked the interview board whether it is permissible. And they permitted her to go and, in fact, come for the interview. And after the interview, in fact, she was selected. She was first in our batch. This is for one of the information which many of you will be missing. And I was posted in Bombay, and she also was posted in Bombay. And in 2009, when I was transferred from Bombay to Bangalore, she came to my chambers and said, in fact, I've got a house there. You can occupy that house. So I said, in fact, madam, in fact, I'm occasionally non-vegetarian. Do you mind? She then told me, in fact, my children are also non-vegetarian. Probably she lied. to make me at ease. So this is, in fact, and after I occupied that house of hers in Bangalore, she called me up on a Saturday and said, in fact, you don't have the furnitures there. So I will send across all the furnitures. I have all the furnitures. So one Saturday, in fact, some henchmen were there with all the furnitures in a lorry load. And she asked the people there to decorate everything, and they left. So this, I'm sharing this experience just to tell you, in fact, what kind of a person she is. Very, in fact, affectionate, and in fact, we are going to miss her very deeply. I'm so sorry to hear about this, and in fact, my condolences to the family members. Thank you.
Before I hand over it, I just want to say that there is one திருக்குறள் in Tamil. ஈன்ற பொழுதில் பெற்றவர்க்கும் தன் மகனை சான்றோன் என கேட்ட தாய். Meaning that the proudest moment for a mother is to hear praises and see her son reach heights. So Asha madam had that opportunity when she went to London to see Vikram get his barrister degree. So I know how deeply the people are affected by this unfortunate event. So now I invite you to say a few words.
Thank you. Honorable Shri George K. Vice President, Honorable Shri Mahavir Singh, Honorable Shri Duguru Reddy, Honorable members of this tribunal, learned Additional Solicitor General, Honorable retired Vice Presidents, senior advocates, all the advocates and members of the bar who spoke, the CA fraternity, the Revenue Bar, and everyone else who is present online as well as in person. My family and I are deeply moved by this magnificent tribute. To look around and see, both in person and virtually, so many stalwarts of the profession gathered here today is a profound honor for us and the memory of my mother, Srimati Asha Vijayaraghavan. Your presence is a reflection of the deep professional and personal bonds she shared with this fraternity, and seeing the bench and the bar come together in this manner is truly heartening. I must express our sincere gratitude to all the distinguished speakers and the attendees who have taken time out of their demanding schedules, and your presence here today speaks volumes of the affection and respect you held for my mother. For my mother, the ITAT was more than an institution. It was her home. She hailed from a family where law was a tradition of scholarship and service. She was the daughter and protege of the late Shri K.R. Ramamni, my grandfather, senior advocate and one of the doyens of the tax bar. She had the privilege of being the granddaughter of Shri V.S. Sundaram, the former Accountant General of India and the author of the classic legal commentary, The Law of Income Tax in India, 1922. Her mother, Srimati Hemalata Ramamni, was a respected educationalist, and through her marriage to my father, Shri R. Vijayaraghavan, she became part of the legacy of Sir S. Vardacharya, the first acting Chief Justice of the Federal Court of India. In short, law was in her blood, and the bar and the bench were an integral part of her life. Her own journey in law began in the mentorship of her father, late Shri K.R. Ramamni. Over 23 years of practice as an advocate under the guidance, she developed a deep-rooted understanding that the bar and the bench are two wheels of the same chariot. She cherished the intellectual rigor of the bar, and that respect for her colleagues only deepened after her elevation to the bench. During her tenure in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, she gained national recognition for her judicial work. I must place on record that since May 1st, I have received an incredible outpouring of calls, messages, WhatsApps from across India. Each of them carried a similar sentiment. They spoke of a person who touched everyone with her kind presence, a member who was fair, balanced, and sharp, possessing an innate ability to grasp the crux of a matter, while never losing the mother's touch. Her achievements reach far beyond the bench. She served as a committee member of National Agro Foundation, an institution started by Bharat Ratna Sri S.C. Subramaniam and also presided by Sri Abdul Kalam. She was the joint secretary of the Chellamal Education Society with over 4,000 students in 3 schools. She started with my grandfather the RMT school, which had more than 400 students providing free education in English medium to underprivileged children in rural areas, and the RMT Vaishnava Sabha, where she fostered serious discourse on Indian philosophy. Yet, this tribunal and this bar remained her true home. Having spent over 4 decades as a part of this fraternity, it was the singular constant in her life. She viewed the camaraderie in the bar and the sanctity of this august institution of the tribunal as the pinnacle of her life. We, her family, will miss her guidance, her wit, her genuine warmth every day. I will miss my mother. But we take great solace in this outpouring of love, and I believe she is smiling down at all of us today, seeing the institution and the bar she loved so dearly coming together. I wish to specifically thank Mr. Swaminathan, CAT member who has come here, as well as all the honorable members of this tribunal who has assembled here, and the executive committee of the Revenue Bar Association, and all those in this registry and the tribunal, etc., who have contributed to this wonderful event. In making this event, your effort is something we as a family deeply appreciate. This reference is a beautiful reflection of the life she led. While a light has gone out in our home, her spirit remains etched in the traditions of this tribunal and in the hearts of this fraternity. Thank you, Jai. There is lunch after this. Please join us. And to clarify, I am vegetarian.
Lunch is ready. You also.